Hi, everyone. So welcome back to another video. Here's what I read in January. I'm disappointed in myself, in my laptop, in iMovie, in my phone, because I recorded a super long video. It was gonna be a tier list of every book I read in 2023, which was 63 books. I'm proud of myself, it's whatever. Laptop ran out of storage, iMovie kept crashing, I lost everything. So I gave up for a bit, and that's fine, that happens, it's whatever. But we're here now with a shorter video, hopefully. For 2024, I have a couple of reading goals. So I read 63 books last year, as I mentioned. My goal for this year is 65. But I'm not going to be too hard on myself because I also have some big books I want to read this year. So I'm not going to be upset if I don't read 65 books. Let's get into the books that I read this month, because I read 7 books. 7 books! Which I'm very happy about. Okay, I technically read 6 books this month. But one of the books I finished literally February 1st or 2nd, and it's part of a series that I started in January, so I'm including it. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Let's just get right into it. No wasting time. We started off with Foe by Ian Reid, and I read this because of the movie starring Paul Mescal and Saoirse Ronan, who are 2 of my absolute favorite actors. Now, I read the movie before I watched the book. I read the book before I watched the movie. It was okay. It follows a couple, Hen and Junior. They live a pretty solitary, quiet life out on a farm. This is set in a sort of dystopian future. They get visited by a stranger who informs them that Junior has been selected to leave Earth and participate in a trial for like a colony in space or whatever. This book is kind of a mystery. I wouldn't really call it a thriller, but it does have sort of intense moments. Here's the thing. This book was a little bit predictable, which I was a little bit disappointed by. And then I watched the movie, and obviously I knew what was gonna happen because I had already read the book, and it's the same source material, and Ian Reid was, I believe, a producer on the film, but so predictable. And considering it was 2 of my favorite actors, I was disappointed. And there's no shirtless Paul Mescal in the book. So, but I gave it 3.25 stars. Next up, we have Foster by Claire Keegan. This book, cover, gorgeous. This book was an incredible read. It's so short, 92 pages. I'm spinning again. Much like Claire Keegan's other novella that I've read, Small Things Like These, somehow, with such a short, I'm gonna use the word runtime, but with such a short length, this book, it is getting so bright on my face. Can we? No. With such a short runtime, this book, it grips you, it brings you in, and it doesn't let you go. It follows a young girl who is taken by her father to live with the Kinsellas for the summer, and I don't have enough words. Claire Keegan is very quickly becoming one of my favorite authors. She's so Irish, which I love. It's just this beautiful little story, this beautiful little tale that I couldn't get enough of. Highly recommend. I gave it 5 stars. There's like not much I can say about it. It's just gorgeous. Foster, Claire Keegan, read it. Next up, we have a classic, Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery. Can't believe I haven't read this yet. I have always had a yearning for, a pining for a long-term dream of having a little cabin in PEI, and I think that was subconsciously influenced by Anne of Green Gables. I've heard so much about it. Obviously, one of my coworkers is gonna introduce it to his daughter soon, which I love. So this was gonna be my first read of the year. I started this on January 1st, Here we go, guys. Let's read Anne of Green Gables, a classic. I stopped reading it about, I don't know, 5-10 days into the year because I was going through a bit of a low mood, and Anne's whimsy and positive attitude and outlook on the world was just not what I needed in that moment. I said, Anne, I get it, but it's not what I need right now. So I paused, I read some other things, being Foe and Foster, and I came back to it, and it was a really fun read. It was really cute, really wholesome. I learned a lot, a classic for good reason, and I gave it 4 stars. I have the little set here with Anne of the Island, and how the hell do you say Avonlea? Avonlea, Avonlea, Avonlea. I don't care, but I want to go to there. I'm gonna read the other 2 at some point throughout the year when they call to me. I'm excited. We have a book recommended to me by a coworker, Fugitive Pieces by Anne Michaels. Whenever I read a novel by a new author and I see on one of the front pages, like, books by insert author, and there's just like the novel I'm reading and a bunch of poetry collections, thank you. Yep, I'll be taking that. This is a book following a young boy who his family gets taken away in World War II in the Holocaust in Poland. He survives miraculously hiding in a forest and gets found by a Greek man who sort of adopts him and takes him under his wing. This is so brilliantly written, so lyrical. It's just my type of novel, even though I guess it would be categorized under like war novel, and war novels aren't really my cup of tea, but it doesn't feel like a war novel. It's beautifully written. Not to say war novels aren't beautifully written, but it's so gorgeous. Let me read some of my favorite excerpts. To remain with the dead is to abandon them. Like other ghosts, she whispers, not for me to join her, but so that when I'm close enough, she can push me back into the world. So ridiculous. So the main character, the sort of driving force of the novel, has a sister who he lost. Her name is Bella. And he's talking about should he have children. Bella, B-E-L-A, for the son, and Bella, B-E-L-L-A, for the daughter. And he says, my son, my daughter, may you never be deaf to love. Bella, Bella. Once I was lost in a forest. I was so afraid. My blood pounded in my chest, and I knew my heart's strength would soon be exhausted. I saved myself without thinking. I grasped the 2 syllables closest to me and replaced my heartbeat with your name. Shut up. Absolutely ridiculous. This one is ridiculous too. The grief we carry, anybody's grief, Zdena thought, is exactly the weight of a sleeping child. Are you kidding me? Gorgeous. And this book is packed full of poetry and of prose and of lyricism. That's just more of that. It's unbelievable. It is split into 2 parts, and in the second part it kind of lost me a bit. I was a bit confused because the narrator switches to a man who's kind of distantly connected to Jakob, and it wasn't so much for me, but I still loved the book. I still really enjoyed it. I'd still very much recommend it. I gave it 4.5 stars. Next up, we read I'm Thinking of Ending Things, again by Ian Reid. I've also seen the film for this. This was sort of in the opposite direction, where I saw the film first and then read the novel, as opposed to Foe, where I read the novel first and then saw the film. This was, I don't know, it was interesting. I enjoyed its mundanity, I guess is the word, and I enjoyed how it unraveled the twist at the end, and I think I enjoyed it a bit more than Foe. It follows a woman going on a road trip with her new boyfriend where she's thinking of ending things. She's thinking of breaking up with him. She goes to his childhood home, meets his family, and on the way back, if you've seen the movie, you have an idea. Yeah, I think it's sort of about how we are in relationships and in solitude, and how that works for different people. This genre of book, I think, isn't my favorite, where it's sort of like a literary thriller. So I also gave it 3.25 stars. I don't have much to say about it. The last two books I read, I will do as one, because it's Before the Coffee Gets Cold and Tales from the Café, by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. These are so warm, so tender. Japanese fiction is a favorite of mine, contemporary Japanese fiction. For next month's video, you'll see another entry from a Japanese author, but these books are, like I said, so tender, so much heart in them. It follows some of the employees at and patrons of a cafe where you can visit either the past or the future. There are a few rules that go along with that, which often make it so people decide not to time travel. But one of the rules is that you have to come back to the present before the coffee gets cold, which, I wish I could think of that. It is just so endearing. The characters are so lovable. Every single one of them is. It's such a smooth read, a nice read. I would highly recommend these to absolutely anybody. Magical realism elements, of course, with the time travel. In each of the stories, it follows a different person who's time traveling, and the lessons we glean, is that the right word? I don't know. I don't care, actually. The lessons we learn from them in their journeys to the past and future, why they're making those journeys, what they're making them for. So gorgeous. So gorgeous. I gave Before the Coffee Gets Cold 4.25 stars, and I gave Tales from the Cafe 4.5 stars. I slightly preferred the sequel, but also the sequel wouldn't be possible without the first. Also, drinking game, take a shot every time the author mentions the sepia hue in the cafe, and get shittered by the 12th page. I don't know. These books make me very happy. Read them if you can. Borrow them from me if you can. This one I got from my library. This one I bought at bookstore. Those are all the books I read in January. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got some new book recommendations that maybe you haven't heard of, or maybe you heard a review that made you not want to read a book, and that's fine too. Bye!